Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Beautiful Friday. Hope you guys are going into a great weekend. Welcome back. We're on a little bit later today than usual, but as always, it's the Jayson Estrera show where we talk about basketball, sports, and every topic that comes our way as accurate as possible. As always, it's your boy, Jayson Estrera. And today, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I be yapping, but I'm going to try to keep it short on some of these topics because, like I said, we got a lot to talk about. Last night, we saw the Boston Celtics cruise to an easy victory versus the Indiana Pacers. And we talked some old school barbershop talk. Shaq's Lakers or Draymond's Warriors? Who wins? We'll take a look at that. But for today, we are going to start off right here. Who wins? Shaq's LA Lakers or Draymond's Golden State Warriors? Let's take a look at the clip.
You pick any of my championship team, any of your championship team, who wins? And the bonus question, who guarding me? Please don't say Andrew Bogut.
I don't think any one player on our team could have guarded you. I do think there were defensive schemes that we could have thrown at you
to make it louder,
to affect you. One is not letting you get the ball. So we're going to guard you with a guy in front of you, a guy behind you.
Hey, yo.
They did that.
Yeah, I wasn't on the court, though.
All right, so what you going to do, stand behind me?
I'm standing in the front. Ain't no ball getting to you. However.
What you mean the ball don't get to them? They just going to throw it over your head?
I'm not 6 feet.
But you ain't 7 feet.
I got 7'3" wingspan.
And I got 9'4" wingspan.
Yeah, but you still got to get the ball. You can't get the ball through me.
No, it's going to go over you, Draymond.
Andrew Bogut's behind you.
Stop
I'm in the front.
Stop it.
We're leaving somebody over there to shoot because you couldn't shoot during that time.
I got Bob. I got B. Shaw. I got Rick.
Bob ain't just about to stand out there launching. Y'all stand out there launching. Nobody was just launching threes then, Shaq. I don't care how old.
You right about that. But however, Bogut going to be in foul trouble.
Man, if you stay back there, I'm going to nail whoever guarding Steph. I'm going to nail whoever guarding Clay. We're going to dot your eye every play.
Okay, but you know what's going to happen after that? I'm going to tell D-Fish, get up on him, let him drive, and I'm going to lay his little out.
D-Fish can't make him drive. I'm going to whack him with these screens. You ever seen me set screens?
All it takes is one play. All it takes is one play to get up on him, and when he drive, I'm laying his out.
And then we got to fight.
All right, what you got to fight then?
And guess what? You getting thrown out the game and me getting thrown out the game. Who's that going to hurt worse? Your team.
So I guess
y'all lose.
So I guess we're not going to fight then.
Yo, I love how Shaq just conceded that in the end. But, barbershop talk, Warriors, Lakers. Now, if we look at their championship team, 2016-17. Their record was better in 2016-2017. So, obviously, if you're Draymond, you would have to pick a team with Kevin Durant. Because I'll be honest with you, a team without him, I don't think they beat the Lakers. Off of jump shooting alone from those guys. Because what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up putting Kobe on Steph. That's what they would have done, right? If we look at what's the best Laker. Let's look at all of their, Laker stats. 2000. They won the championship in 2000, won 56 and 26, 58 and 24, 50 and 32. Oh, 99, 2000, 67 and 15. Who was on this 99, 2000 team when... But see, like, the problem with the Lakers, if you go with an earlier team like the 2000s team, Kobe isn't as good. If you go with the second or the third year, you get a little bit of a better Kobe Bryant, but you get a fatter Shaq. You get a fatter Shaq and a more out of shape Shaq. Because Draymond is right when he says that, because they're talking strategies now. Shaq was not coming out to guard pick and rolls. He wasn't coming out to step out on picks. So what Draymond is saying is whoever that defender is, if Draymond is on Shaq, because they might have just done that. They might have tried to go small. I'm sure the Warriors would have tried it. They would have tried Draymond at the 5 and go small. So now when Shaq is playing the pick and a drop coverage and he's low, Draymond, like he said, he would just pick the whoever's guarding. They would do one of those. Steph would throw it to Draymond, and Draymond would just do a handoff and immediately pick the guy. Or Draymond will pass it to him and immediately pick him, knowing Shaq's not going to step up. Because if Shaq steps up, then they can get around him. Now it's scramble. Right? The reason I say you need to have Kevin Durant is because Kevin Durant is your equalizer. I get that Steph and Clay are the best shooters ever, but I always say it. Relying on the 3-point shot can get you in trouble. And sometimes they can do that. They've always... The difference with them is they've always done a great job of utilizing the other parts of the floor. And I don't think they've gotten credit for that. They've always had mid-range presence. They've always had mid-range type of players. Steph has always attacked the rim relatively, right? Compared to what people think. You know, Iguodala. Yeah, they have guys that attack the paint, but Kevin Durant is really the difference, right? Because Shaq's right. He's gonna draw fouls. He's gonna draw double teams, right? And would the Lakers have... How would the Lakers have adjusted, right? It's trying to figure out how to get the ball on the weak side. So now you're going to allow Kobe Bryant, one of the, to me, in my opinion, a top 3, top 2 player ever, to go one-on-one on the weak side. I don't think you win that way either if you're the Warriors. That's why the equalizer is adding Kevin Durant to the fold. I think the Lakers can manage, and it'll be close. I think the Lakers can manage. I can't believe that Draymond, he later said that they would win in 5, maybe 6 games. Like, come on. Come on. You guys have never had to deal with a dominant big like that. Imagine the Warriors against a Nikola Jokic. The Warriors against a Joel Embiid. I'm not saying that those guys would beat the Warriors, but we've just never seen it in an NBA Finals setting, where now we're game planning each game against you, adjusting each game against you, knowing that your weakness is you don't have a big man. Now we're gonna, instead of him getting 30 to 40 touches, we're gonna up that. Now we're gonna run everything through Joel Embiid and Jokic. Those are the differences that you won't be able to find in regular season stats all the time. What happens if Bogut gets a quick 2 fouls? What happens if Draymond gets a quick 1 or 2 fouls? Completely shifts the game, right? Steph isn't really going to draw fouls on Kobe like that. Clay isn't going to draw fouls on Kobe like that. granted, Rick Fox, Derek Fisher, Robert Horry, they don't shoot a bunch of 3-pointers. But what happens if they make one or two? And now all of a sudden, Golden State has to tighten up a little bit. See, that's the thing. They don't have to make a whole bunch of threes, but it's still basketball. They can't just leave those guys. Right? You're dealing with two of the greatest players ever, with Kobe and Shaq. I think that with Kevin Durant, they can edge out the Los Angeles Lakers. Without Kevin Durant, I don't think the Warriors beat the Lakers. Because like I said, if you're going to leave someone on an island and let them play one-on-one with Kobe, hit shots on the weak side, get to the basket, and then when he's driving, he can now make dump-off plays to Shaq. I don't know how that works for the Warriors. He would dominate that series if that's how Draymond wants to play it, and he's not mentioning that part of it. You would have to play one-on-one basketball on an island on the weak side with no help against Kobe Bean Bryant. So, hey, man, like I said, he's supposed to go for his team, obviously, and the Warriors are one of the best teams ever. But yeah, you would need Kevin Durant first and foremost, and even then, it would be tight. And I say that because that's just a lot of points to have to make up for the Lakers. You have two guys that are good for 20 plus and almost 30 points in Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. You have Klay Thompson who can get 20 plus, 18 to 20 easy. Right? And for the Lakers, where are those points going to come from? Right? And they also talk about rules and whatnot, which is a whole nother thing. But either way, I think it's a super tight series. I do think that the Lakers probably win that, because, man, Kevin Durant. Because then if you have Kevin Durant becomes your weak side defender, and you'd basically just put him on Kobe. And not to say that Kobe still wouldn't go off, but it would be tough shots that he would have to take over 7-foot tall Kevin Durant. And that's not Oklahoma City Kevin Durant. That's Golden State Warriors Kevin Durant. Yeah, that's tough. I would say Lakers in 7 games. Because you guys already had a tough time with LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin Love. And I get that they play modern day basketball, but goddamn, that's Shaq and Kobe. And you needed some big shots from Kevin Durant, who could take those shots with confidence, knowing damn well Bron wasn't going to make them threes in the back, like coming back at him. But Kobe would. So, yeah. Let's say Lakers in 7 games against any of the Kevin Durant Warriors team. And we'll say the middle one. We'll say the 2001 LA Lakers. Moving on. Speaking of a bunch of All-Stars and All-NBA players, we did see the other day they released the All-NBA selections. Let's see here. All right. So let's see. So what do you guys think, man? This is All NBA first team. We got Luka and Shea as the guards, and then we have Giannis, Jokic, and Tatum as the front court players. I gotta say, I think this is pretty spot on, honestly. All of these guys were MVP candidates. So, like, legitimate MVP candidates. Giannis obviously got hurt in the end, so maybe some people kind of forgot, but his season was still phenomenal. His numbers were great, maybe better than ever. But yeah, we got Shea, obviously, who I think is my MVP for this year. Luka is other people's MVP for this year. And then we also got Jokic, and who won the MVP, and Tatum, who had the best record. He was the best player on the best team this year, the best record. So let's take a look at All NBA second team. All NBA second team. We got Jalen Brunson, New York's very own Jalen Brunson, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, and Kawhi Leonard. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know about this Kawhi Leonard one, bro. How many games did he play this year? He played a bunch this year? Let's see, bro. No. He played 68 games. He just made it into that cutoff. .7, 1.6 steals, 3.6 assists, 6.1 rebounds. Yeah, I don't know about that. That one's just, I don't know. Everyone else seems like they're a lock in here. I guess for me, it would be, you can maybe argue Sabonis, All NBA second team. Or even like, I think even Bron had a better year. Honestly, you could pick any of these guys to put in over Kawhi, in my opinion. It's just in my opinion. And maybe swap that, but yeah, these are your All NBA teams, man. And then there was also this guy, this motherfucker, man. What's his name? I'm trying to find his name. Ignacio Garcia. Is it this one? Is this guy, bro? So after they had released it, pretty justifiable votes. Spanish newspaper deputy brand director Juan Ignacio Garcia Ochoa. He had Sacramento Kings star forward Domantas Sabonis as an All NBA first team, defensive player of the year, and like, yeah, All NBA first team, All NBA defensive team, third in defensive player in the year, fourth in, like, who? Like, what is this guy on, bro? What is this guy going on about? Like, what the fuck, bro? Anyway. So anyway, that's kind of like, we got these reporters that just be voting shit. Domantas Sabonis he's a really, really good player. I think he's a very underrated player. But to have him as first team all defense, third in defensive player of the year, like, bro, what are we doing? And no disrespect to Sabonis. 19.4, 13.7, 8.2 isn't going to cut it for all NBA first team. I'm so sorry, bro. Like, there was a couple guys saying that, oh, nobody was mad at the all NBA first team vote. Do you see? I mean, I hope people understand when they're talking about all NBA. 1, 2, 3 average 30 points per game. This motherfucker almost averages a triple-double. Did Giannis average a triple-double this year? Did he average a double-double? I'm sorry, not a triple-double. 30.4 and 11.5. Shea was averaging 30 and scored 30 in like 50-some games. Jokic almost averaging a triple-double. Tatum, 28 points a game on the best, like, all NBA first team, bro. These guys are not real people. I'm convinced that these guys are not real people, bro. Just be saying shit. But yeah, speaking of, Luka Doncic and even Anthony Edwards. Actually, sorry, Jayson Tatum. That's the topic after. But speaking of Jayson Tatum, Boston was able to cruise to an easy victory last night. I said it, man. I thought they would make some adjustments, and that they did. So they ended up. Let me get this. All right, so the Boston Celtics ended up winning the game 126-110 at home to go up 2-0 against the Indiana Pacers. Jaylen Brown had himself a fucking ball game. He ended up with 40 points, 1 steal, 2 assists, 5 rebounds. Excuse me. Shot 14 of 27 from the field, 4 of 10 from 3, 8 of 11 from the free throw line. Tatum and White added in 23 points each. And like I said, man, I didn't expect Tatum to get double digits in rebounds last night. I was right on the money. He also had 4 turnovers, but he had 5 assists, 6 rebounds. Shot 9 of 20 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. And Derek White on the other side went 8 of 15 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, 3 of 3 from the line. Had 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. Drew Holiday added in 15 points, 10 assists. And yeah, they dominated these fools, man. Siakam was having himself another one of those type of games. Went 13 of 17 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, 5 rebounds, 2 assists for 28 points. And then Halliburton only had 10 points and left at the end of the third quarter because of a hamstring injury. So let's take a look at what exactly happened last night. Let's see.
Always fun to see the adjustments. Nembhard, nice feed inside of Siak, and Holiday comes up with it. Jaylen Brown, a three.
And the fact that he wants to play well against his former team, but
We haven't even played 4 minutes. Tatum, good-looking jump problem for Indiana in game 1. Tatum goes inside, blocks Turner, and against smaller lineups that the Pacers can throw out, he can punish switches. Halliburton lobs it out. Neesmith turnovers for Boston. Siakam running the floor and finishes. Holiday again left alone and hits another. Nembhard gets inside. Beautiful move. Finds some room, drives inside.
My God.
White doesn't go for the fake. Siakam, turnaround jumper, 9 from the field. Jaylen Brown finds some room. Jumper's got it. Jaylen Brown spins. Nembhard trying to stay with him. Doesn't bite. Difficult shot. Brown gets it. Jumper's good.
Poor sister, target hunting, whatever you want to talk about. A plethora of names. That's Aaron Spoelstra calls it the duck.
Siakam, here's Brown. Goes up, foul from behind.
Easy.
Turner with a bit. So far, he's had a quiet night. Elbow jumper. Turner is up. Tatum finds a spot. Jumper. Got it out. Tatum the fake. Tripped up. Goes to the basket. Count it. Holiday left wide open. Three-pointer. Puts it in. Boston up 2-0 here in these Eastern Conference.
And that's game. So Boston, like I said, had an easy victory, and made some very simple adjustments. Game 1, we saw a lot more of Tatum on Siakam. In game 2, we saw Tatum and Brown both rotating and having that Miles Turner matchup, right? So, like I said, as a result of that, they pulled Tatum away a little bit from the basket, so he wasn't able to get as many rebounds as he normally does through the playoffs. But more importantly, those two guys just would not leave Miles Turner. They were big enough to give a solid contest off. And it took Al Horford out of a lot of the pick and rolls that Indiana was trying to target him in game 1. Right? It was a really simple fix to a potentially big problem. Right? And you could tell they made a conscious effort to consistently find Turner on on offensive rebounds, but they also, I don't know let's take a look at what the numbers look like here. But it just seemed like they were trying to really just keep Indiana off of the offensive boards. And like I said, if they did a good job of trying to get out to Turner. So you got to give kudos to Boston on making that adjustment. And we also saw Jaylen Brown taking advantage of any and all matchups, right? Tatum obviously got going and had 36 in the first game. They were loading up on him. They were shading 2 players on him almost at all times. And it allowed Jaylen Brown to play a lot of one-on-one, right? We also saw on a couple possessions last night where, because he had that Miles Turner matchup, he was able to get out on the fast break, throw aheads, some easy baskets. He was all over the place, right? I think that shot, he's already been playing well. That shot that he hit at the end of game 1 obviously added to the confidence that he already has. But these guys look like their only satisfaction would be a championship this year. He didn't even look happy about. They were asking about the All NBA selection. He didn't even look happy about that. He didn't even look happy about that. He said, "We're here to win a fucking championships, to win a fucking championship." And so you got to respect the mentality that these guys have. They also, it's a little detail, but where is this? I think they've also figured out, well, maybe they've always known, this is Halliburton's package. He's gonna dribble left, he's gonna side dribble, bounce, and then he's gonna go and he's gonna do a step back. And if he doesn't have a shot, he's going to pass it. And they made a conscious effort of, like, we know, I've said it, right? Siakam is going to kill you in the paint, and he's also been killing the Knicks and now the Pacers in the mid-range, right? He's made the adjustment. He knows this is what teams are looking for. They're giving him the mid-range shot. He's taking them and he's making them. And so Boston said, all right, well, we'll let him shoot threes then, because Horford can't close out on him. He's too quick. Look at who the fuck is on Turner. It's Drew Holiday, so he definitely can't get out to him, right? And even though he hit a bunch of these, he had a couple of them. He went 2 of 2 from 3, right? He went 2 of 2. This is a shot that Boston can live with. Out of all of their 3-point shooters, if Siakam is the one taking those shots, Boston can live with that. And yeah, they completely took Halliburton out of the game. He wasn't aggressive. Like I said, it felt like what he said about Drew Holiday was almost an admit of defeat, or almost, hey, it's okay if I didn't score that much. I'm against the best defender in the world. That's how it felt. And then he gets to fall back on the fact that, hey, I'm not a scorer anyway. I'm more of a point guard. And then he gets the hamstring injury, where I don't want to question anyone's injury. Obviously, we saw what happened with OG, but what had happened to him wasn't the same ferocity when we saw when OG went down. And I could tell you immediately he was out. Like, he wasn't coming back. Halliburton played a little bit, and then he went out of the game, and then he sat on the bench, and then he limped to go to the locker room. Obviously, I'm not a professional player. I only played high school. But it looks like you quit on your team, bro. It looks like you quit on it. When you can't even get a shot off, it's really, really frustrating. The NBA is a bunch of players that have, their moves have worked, and they're repeatable moves, right? They've worked over and over and over and over again at all levels. And now when you get to this point and the shit that you've done is all of a sudden not working, you get frustrated. And then you tweak something, and now you have an easy way out. Like I said the other day or yesterday, talk a lot of shit when you're up. Gotta do it when you're down. I don't make the rules, Playboy. I don't make the rules, bro. It is what it is, but it looked like you quit on your team. I'm sorry to say, that's what it looked like. It is what it is. And if it's a real hamstring injury, you can't play game 3. If you play game 3, you prove my point. So you can't play game 3 now. Hamstrings are you can't play with a hamstring injury. Strain something. Hamstring puts people out for a little. You got to just sit your ass down. That's what I said about OG. And we saw how he looked when he came back. That was after 11 days. So you can't play in game 3. If your ass is running around there in game 3, you quit on those boys in game 2. And the series is over. Boston was comfortable. Boston was prepared. They were intense. They got after it. They have size. They have talent. They have skill. They have all the ingredients to a championship team. And unfortunately, the Indiana Pacers are just short of that. They don't really have a main guy. They have second options masquerading as main guys. What's up? It did feel a little bit like that. I don't like to doubt them either. But that's how it felt. He had 8 shots, nothing was going in. I thought he got checked out of game 1 at the end of game 1 when he got those 2 turnovers and Drew Holiday forced his ass into turnovers. He is tearing up, man. Siakam has been gross, but the issue with Siakam is he's like allergic to shooting over 20 times in a game, no matter how hot he is. We've seen how crazy he could go when he puts up 20 to 25 shots. Just something in him won't let him do it. And that's the issue that Indiana has when you start playing the best teams, right? You have number 2 option type players masquerading as number 1 options. If Halliburton isn't going to give you 20 plus a game with 10 plus assists, meaning he has the ball a majority of the game, then you're going to have to ask Siakam to get 18 to 20 shots, which is now leading into a more of a first option role, and he just don't play that. But hey man, it is what it is. I do think that we'll see if Halliburton plays game 3. If it's a real hamstring injury, he can't play game 3. If he plays game 3 and he's hobbled, they lose. If he plays game 3 and he's right, they have a chance. But it really is going to depend on him because they don't have enough firepower. They don't have enough firepower without him. Easy ass victory for the Boston Celtics last night. I honestly, it feels like they just fucking gave up. I don't know why they sat him either. And then when he came back in the game, he wasn't getting any touches. That's what I'm saying. I wonder if it's like a coaching thing or if it's a him thing, because if he was on fire, like he was on fire, and you would think that how important this game is, right? Knowing what happened game 1. You would have had to play him the whole 4th quarter. It's the fucking Eastern Conference Finals, but that's not how it shook out. How many minutes did he play in the 4th? Let's see. Yeah, he only played 2 minutes in the fucking 4th quarter. Yep. Yeah, so they basically just threw that game away. I mean, personally, I thought it was over. At it early in the fourth, yeah, I mean it was 91-78 going into the end of the third quarter. What did it end at? Yeah, they just ran into a better team. He just ran into a better team. It happens. They ran into a New York Knicks team where the entire roster is on injury reserve damn near. And now you run into a healthy, rolling Boston Celtics team who almost gave y'all game one. Should have taken that one. And like I said, exactly how I expected it. What was the final? 120. I said they would win by 10 to 15 points. They won by 16. Yeah. Outside of Siakam, no one else really played well for them. So it is what it is. Now let's move on to the other side, to the Western Conference Finals. And let's talk a little bit about what I think is going to happen in Game 2 of the Dallas Mavericks versus Minnesota Timberwolves. I gotta say, it didn't look good for the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 1. I'm not gonna lie to you. I chose them coming into the series because their defense has been so good, and Luka and Kyrie fucking took that challenge immediately. Like, they took that shit head on. Do I expect Kyrie to come out and shoot 10 times in the first quarter? No. But I think there's a good chance Luka might. there's a good chance he might. So this series is tough because Minnesota can't lose this game, because then you lose home court advantage. You go into, and they haven't been down 0-2 this playoffs yet. We don't know how they respond from that. Anthony Edwards didn't look right last game. Obviously, he looked really tired in the end. But some of the passes he was throwing away... even the threes. He started taking some long threes in the end, but he was taking them early also. And I don't know if he's trying to establish distance like the way Damian Lillard, Steph Curry like to do, right? You got to guard me out here. Extend the defense a little bit more. But he wasn't driving like he typically does. I think if he looks at the film, and hopefully they looked at that Oklahoma City series, he's going to have to get going from the mid-range. He's the only one on the team that really has that game right now. I know McDaniels and Conley can kind of hit that shot too. But right now, they're gonna try to... They're double teaming him. And if he gets past his defender, you got Gafford, Lively, and Washington waiting for you at the rim. Right? They haven't opened up the alley-oop for Edwards because they're looking for it. It's only opened up when Karl Anthony Towns and Gobert are doing that big two-man big game, right? So it's really going to depend on Anthony Edwards to open this game up for them. Like, you know how people talk about X factors? He's their best player, but he's also now the X factor in my opinion. Because if you get going from the mid-range, now you open some of those shots. Jaden McDaniel was hitting some big shots. They were letting him take those shots, right? but now it leaves more of those open shots for him, open shots for Cat, opens up alley-oops to Gobert. Anthony Edwards has to hit shots from the mid-range, and I think he can. Right? Whether it's getting it quick, driving, pulling up, posting up from the mid-range, they're going to have to mix it up with him specifically, right? And then continue to look for mismatches for Karl Anthony Towns. Like, I want to say that Minnesota wins tonight. A huge part of me is saying Dallas wins, though. And if they win, what the fuck does that look like? What the fuck does that look like? Think about that, man. Fuck. Because, like I said, I want to say they got to extend this series. Minnesota's got to win tonight. Minnesota Timberwolves win game 2. Go back into Dallas with the series tied 1-1. Anthony Edwards got to have a big game. He's got to have a big game. It is what it is, man. And I think he's got it in him. He's responded really well to these games. Look for Dallas to keep trying to double team him. He has to isolate on a wing with no strong side help, with no strong side corner. So the help's going to have to come from the middle. That's how they're going to have to play. Because if the help is coming from the middle, now you have either a 3, that guy at the top of the key can either shortcut to the nail, opens up more stuff, right? If that's Conley, you have a great playmaker and a shooter at the top of the key. So Minnesota, please fucking put him in one of the wings, preferably the right side, so he can get to his right hand, right? You don't want him necessarily going left, but if you get him ISOs on the right side, no strong side corner, I think he'll be effective against pretty much whoever's guarding him. Let that man fucking cook. Minnesota Timberwolves win tonight, baby. Let's go. What's next? What's next right now? Oh, no, that's not it. Before that, we talk about some WNBA. So, last night, the Chicago Sky beat the New York Liberty 90-81. And, bro, Breanna Stewart did not have a game like she would typically have. She only had 18 points on 5 of 12, 2 of 6 from 3. What is that? 10 boards and 5 assists. Sabrina had 19. Yeah, Sabrina had 19. Angel Reese. Let's see. Angel Reese in 31 minutes of play went 3 of 10. Had 12 and 2? No, she had 13 and No, she had 13 and 9, bro. 13 and 9. And she had some big shots. So let's take a look at this shit.
Type players, not a blockbuster player, but they're really excited about that too. Avery splits the deep. We've seen that nationally.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a 7-game series. That Western Conference Finals is gonna be 7 games.
Sabally gets another chance on the offensive board. Doesn't hit the chippy, and you just see.
Yo, I don't know if y'all been watching. Some of these girls be hitting some crazy step backs. Like, look at that shit, bro. Hell no.
Adjusting to how the game is being called. Ionescu.
They can shoot the shit out the ball, bro.
And it leads.
Fine. So they got to the lane. They got to the free throw line.
Stewart sets her feet and lets it fly. Ionescu leading this possession, takes it to herself. Mabry.
Trey ball.
Last 6 points for New York.
Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh my god.
She fakes everybody.
Look at that floater.
Carter.
Oh, give me that.
Rap has not gotten a slew of stops in a row.
Ionescu count. Unlucky ball. Mabry for 3.
Whew.
On their shoulder. Dana Evans trying to get to the cup there. Angel Reese. It's so hard for New York to get stops. Chicago
Beating at a really high level, and New York had a hard time.
So, yeah, I mean, at least, you know, obviously she's the other big name in the WNBA outside of Caitlin Clark. Everyone's been complaining that everyone's only talking about Caitlin Clark, but the truth is, this started from her and Angel Reese having that moment, you know, a year ago, right? At least that's when mainstream media and someone like me who hasn't really watched the WNBA in a really long time started paying attention, was from that moment. And I was like, oh shit, they're fucking going at it. And obviously she had replied something about to Charles Barkley about how it's not just one player that's making these changes happen. And obviously she's not the only one. However, she's the main one. But yeah, at least one of them is fucking winning, because the other one is not. Yo, they can't buy a win on Indiana, bro. That is crazy. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like, I was looking at the stats, and there is no way y'all are not, like, you don't have people shooting over 10 threes a game. Because one, y'all have always been able to shoot, even before you guys were fucking shooters. Like, you guys got to start, and, you know, you see the scores go up, it becomes more exciting, right? And also, I mean, someone like, and this is just me, maybe this is just me like nitpicking, but I think that Angel Reese needs to learn how to like use her body and be physical in the paint, because right now she just fucking, like, she deadass just be grabbing the ball and just go, she just be going up with it with like, that's a grab, you take a hit. I guess she's trying to get the ball up quick, but you got to take that hit and bump her back and get a controlled shot up. It happened in another time earlier in the game. It's like she needs to learn some of these basic games, some of these basic things in the game. And it's crazy because she's still averaging like 12 and 7. Like, imagine how much better she'll be. Like, you know, I'm not trying to say that to take a jab at her. I'm saying, like, she has so much room to grow, right? I think between her and Caitlin Clark, she has a lot more room to grow. She has a lot more that she can add to her game. She's taller, she's bigger. You know, Clark is still kind of limited by her size. She just has to get really, really good at the shit that she does. But, you know, Angel Reese, she's athletic, she's tall, she has size, she has those tools to work with. So she can really, really grow into a really, really good player. And, you know, just using stuff like that. Use your size, use your physicality. NBA players don't do that shit still. A lot of motherfuckers get the ball and they just shoot that shit back up when you got to get the ball, get down, take a bump, you know, what they call a pound dribble, drop step, and like get up a good shot, because those things are consistent. But yeah, a lot of people have been complaining, but I do think it's true that obviously Caitlin Clark is getting a lot of the media attention. But y'all should have expected that, right? But it's also, you can't get mad at Angel Reese for saying some shit and speaking her mind, because she got every right to. So motherfuckers just be mad on both sides for no reason. Like, like fuck, man. What are we doing? Yes, there are a lot of NBA. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And I feel like sometimes I gotta add that, because there's some people that think that the NBA be perfect, and there's some fans that think, and it's like, that's a lot of these guys also don't have basic fundamentals of the game, and that's the very reason why we have 30 teams and only 16 of them get into the playoffs. there's a fucking reason why. Even though I think that this is the most skilled and talented era of basketball, there's still a lot of motherfuckers that don't know what they're doing out there, and it is what it is. But so, speaking on to kind of stay on that topic, Byron Scott was on a podcast going off on some of these guys. Well, not going off, but let's take a look at this clip.
The 90s, Byron?
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know why, but I've heard that.
What do you think? Well,
So
my question is, do you guys think in today's era they would be able to compete with you guys? Like, because you're saying, you know, they wouldn't be able. You'd sweep them, is what you just told me.
I don't.
You'd
think they'd be able to
sweep
compete with us in
them,
our era.
bruh.
Because you got to look at the rules too. This is about the softest brand of basketball that you can play right now. Impeding progress when you run across the lane. Back in our day, you go to the lane, you getting hit. It was just that was a rule in the NBA. You go in the lane, you getting hit, and everybody expected that. So today's basketball, even like I said, I enjoy the game. I've been watching all the playoff games, and I'm enjoying the excitement of the game. But when you compare eras, you got to also think about the rules in those eras as well.
Yes,
And
that
if
is
you're gonna
facts.
have
That is facts.
Teams in the 2020s trying to play against teams in the 1990s, then you're gonna have to adjust the rules, because it's unfair for them to try to play our rules back in those days. Kind of like it was almost unfair for us to play their rules, because they're much more athletic than we were back in those days.
I'm glad he added that last part, right? Because players are more athletic now. Players are, it's different now, right?
Always fun to see.
And I get it. They're going to always have these debates, right? And understandably, you go like, that's basically his home team. His era is his home team, right? I'm just trying to find some here. Because they always talk about, like, physicality. Let me see this. They always talk about physicality, right? And being in the paint. And, we'd be more physical with them. He literally said, we gonna hit them when they come into the paint, right? Where's the paint? There is not one motherfucker out there on the Boston Celtics that is below the 3-point line currently. So this is the thing that pissed me off about the 80s sometimes, man. Y'all don't even argue for yourselves properly. You guys don't even argue for yourselves properly. You guys keep talking about physicality. When what you should be arguing is the fact that in the 80s and in the 90s, everyone can shoot the mid-range game really well. And if you played a modern team now that plays drop coverage, I don't know if you know, what's his name? The Microwave. from back in the day. He used to play on the, what's his name? Vinny Johnson, bucket. Like, these, outside of Michael Jordan, there were other players. That's all they were good at shooting. They weren't shooting 3-point shots. So they're gonna kill you in the mid-range, and now we're pretending like everyone in the NBA shoots threes at a really, really high level, at a really high clip, when the reality is not every team does that. A bunch of the good teams do that, but not every team shoots the 3-point shots well. They just shoot a lot of it. Physicality and adjusting to the rules is a lot easier than gaining skills. So, no, putting a team from the 80s into the NBA now has nothing to do with skill. It has nothing to do with physicality, because I think people can adjust to that. Oh shit, they're not calling this. Gotta stop doing it. Oh shit, they're not gonna let me do this. Especially if y'all pride on being intelligent back in the day. I think y'all would figure that part out. What you wouldn't be able to figure out, because we can't all of a sudden transform you guys, right? We're just taking you as you are back then into now. And the reality is, you guys don't have the ball handling or the 3-point shooting to be able to really stick with these guys, to make a roster. Now they require you to be a 3-point shooter. But yes, y'all advantage is the mid-range. And what you should say is, the best players in the world, all the top players, are still mid-range demons. They're still mid-range assassins. So yes, of course, our guys can go, you know, if we matched up, we could dominate, or we could do well. Stop talking about physicality. Talk about strategy. What the fuck are you, what are you guys going to do when your 4-man, who's never guarded beyond the free throw line, now has to stand at the 3-point line and guard against someone that's 6'9" and can dribble the fucking basketball? I don't know if it's anyone. The best players, I think, can. I think the best players you can translate, because I think greatness goes beyond just ability. That's, you know, your mentality, how you're able to go through hardships, how you're able to respond to adversity. It goes, you know, being a great player goes beyond just the game. So I personally think that great players can. The majority of the league. Yeah, but you know, I think, like, he was saying, oh, like, it would just be the rules that would make it. No, you guys can't develop the skills that the players now have. You would have to come in with the skills that you guys have, and you guys would not be skilled enough in the 80s and in the 90s. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. And now in modern basketball, they wouldn't reward you guys for grabbing and holding and hitting people like you are rewarded in the 80s and 90s. So you would have to adjust. And now if we want to play the what if game, because you guys want to play what if, right? Now imagine Jayson Tatum gets to be physical and throw his fucking body and his weight around at 6'10". Oh, and by the way, he can also shoot the ball. What if we take Zion Williamson to go and be fucking physical? What if we take a Russell Westbrook, who I feel like to an extent his game got minimized? Yeah, even Josh Hart can translate into any era. He might even play better back then. I think there are less players back then that you could translate into now. The best players, I think, can translate for the most part, but everyone else, you got to start picking and choosing. And that's what they're not understanding. It's easy to teach physicality. Okay, you grab somebody here when they're not looking, da 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 da. I can't teach you how to shoot a bunch of jump shots and take step backs and to get it into your mentality to shoot a certain way. It just don't work like that. It's a lot more difficult to acquire that skill as opposed to let's go knock somebody on their ass. We're talking about two totally different things. Totally different things. So yeah, I don't necessarily agree with Byron Scott because just leave it as I also think this. You just leave things as they are. Those guys were great in their time. Shit moves on. Things get better, unfortunately. Right? Does it apply to everything? Obviously not. Like defense, maybe it could be considered worse, but also look at the offense that they got to play against, right? Physicality, you could say basketball IQ to an extent has gotten worse. But it's a different style of basketball, and what we've seen is the best teams still have a high IQ, right? The best teams still have elements from old school. That's also what these old school guys are forgetting. If we take the best teams from this era, y'all would have a real long day. Y'all would have a long day because the best teams of this era they incorporate some elements from back then too, right? So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's gonna be a forever debate. Everyone's always just gonna have their era. Nothing's gonna hit like your first love. And for them, it was like their 80s. That was their first love. That was when they fell in love with basketball, right? You got guys now that fell in love with basketball with Kobe, LeBron, and Steph. Just a totally different thing. Oh, I had not switched that over. Shit. All right, so the last thing that we're gonna is this shit's been going around.
Behind it, we know you got multiple procedures. Tell us what happened, where you are, and where you're going.
To make a long story short, ultimately, it started with a meniscus tear. Basically started on the Lakers when I tore it the first time. Tore it a couple more times to a point to where there was no more, basically not much meniscus left and bone on bone was rubbing. So the cartilage was gone and the bone was messed up. So I had to get actually a new meniscus from a donor. I had to get a bone allograft and I had to get some new cartilage put in as well. All that finally, healed up and now I'm back on the court now.
Okay, what a blessing.
Really was about, I would say we're like, 14, 15 months in now. So the stuff before that, we were trying to figure out what the problem was. So that was a wasted year. So, but now we're here.
Yeah. So it's been a long way of this guy trying to get back and play basketball. Modern medicine can do a lot for you. I don't know if it's gonna do all this. We've seen Derrick Rose come back. In basketball, I grew up on Michael Jordan, and the first person that I was watching in real time that I was like a fan of was Tracy McGrady. Derrick Rose is a good one, Elijah. That's like seeing him as a rookie, bruh. That was crazy. Like, it's unreal, and it, like, you see some of the way that some guys play, and it's just like it's obvious the effect that he had, man. All the crazy, like, they might not be able to dunk like him, but some of the crazy layups, like, you could see the influence. But yeah, it's tough to see Lonzo Ball go out, because I was talking about him yesterday, saying he's kind of like that Caitlin Clark is kind of like the Lonzo Ball version, is the Lonzo Ball of the WNBA, meaning like she's not playing bad in her rookie year, but she's getting just a lot of hate because of the amount of like love and praise that she was getting before entering the WNBA. And the same thing was happening to Lonzo because of his dad, right? Everybody was hating on him coming into the NBA, and all the players were trying to have their record nights on this guy. And still, he averaged 10, 7, and 7 and 1.7 steals in his rookie year, which is fucking incredible. And nobody ever talks about it, right? So to see him go from that to be a legitimate NBA player, meaning he has a legitimate role, he has a skill and a talent that positively affects winning, which was his ability to push the ball. Ball never sticks to his hand. Good vision and good passing ability, but also played hard defense and had good size to play defense. Had so many positive things. So to see him go through this injury is really tough. I know Chicago was looking for their version of a big three with him, DeMar, and Zach, and now it looks like that shit's all falling apart. I'll be honest, it doesn't look good for him. I don't think you come back from an injury like that. We've never seen it. He would have to show us. He would have to show me. You know, we've seen guys start to come back from ACL injuries, but you got a donor meniscus. I've never even heard of this shit, and I tore my ACL. So it's going to be tough, especially that the way he plays, someone that's reliant on defense. The hard part in basketball when you have to go side to side is when you're making movements that you're not expecting. And that's defense. You're reacting to the other guy, right? So it's a lot harder to brace yourself and to prepare yourself for some of these sudden stops, especially when you're trying to play good defense and you're playing hard. So that's going to take that away, right? He's talking about jumping. Like, you'll have to show me, because I don't have confidence that you're on a path to really come back and be an effective NBA player. At least not the way that you were before. And the unfortunate thing is he's still young. But, you know, it is what it is, I guess, at this point for him. And he has to try to come back, because he's already worked so hard. And I would love to see him come back and be a good, effective player again. But that remains to be seen. So, with that said, I will be signing off for today. It's been a beautiful Friday. Thank you guys for hanging out. Elijah, thank you for kicking it and chatting with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe and all that good shit. Let's go watch the playoffs later, and then we'll talk about it. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me. It's been awesome. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Have a blessed one, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.